start the meeting. It's 6:05. Zach should be right with us. So, let's see, minutes from the December 6th meeting. Make a motion to approve the minutes for the 2006 meeting as written.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion on that? Do we have any changes or anything? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so any adjustments to the agenda tonight?
I had asked to go after the fire chief appointment discussion because we have a twin state meeting. So if I can go after the
Yep,
fire chief.
the fire chief discussion is on the top of the list, so that should be good. You didn't want to go before that? You want to go after that?
I can go right now.
Well, no, I didn't know if, you said you had to leave, so,
And to leave with him.
Okay, sorry.
okay, so that should be good,
That's
okay,
okay.
you'll be
Yeah,
fine. So we'll
that's
do
fine.
fire department appointment discussion first.
Yep.
Okay, so we just approved the minutes, Zach, and, now we're on to the fire chief appointment discussion. So, I guess, where are we gonna start with the discussion?
You got the timeline change first? Listed first.
Well, I know, but I don't know, are we changing that right now? Are we having the discussion first and talk about timeline?
Yeah, probably would be.
Is kinda what I was thinking.
That's what I would suggest as well.
So, so I guess we need to stop by, which Wayne is present with us today. So we had some discussion at last meeting, and we were told that you would be here to,
Here's the letter from our secretary. The attendance of all those present at the meeting
Okay.
is there. And so a quick resume of what happened in the number last bunch of years.
Okay.
And a couple of letters from other chiefs or retired chiefs.
Where would you like to begin?
Sit right so the camera can see everybody.
so, okay, so I guess we had some concerns, about Wayne, you being fire chief again. You were voted out.
There wasn't a vote out. I was asked to step aside.
Okay,
And certain individuals said they would like to take over. There was, again, a similar letter that came from the department with Wade's appointment for election. And later on, they put me back in an assistant chief.
okay,
Certain individuals who instigated this whole thing was hoping that he was going to get nominated. Well, he didn't.
okay,
And other parts of the history is he's no longer with us. He joined up with another department. He left them too.
okay.
So I
Okay.
just sat back and watched. That's all I did.
Okay, and I'm not denying you've been on the department for 57 years in the fire service. So your knowledge is amazing, absolutely. I'm not denying any of your knowledge, your skills, any of that. We had some concerns about, just some other stuff to do with it. Well, driving apparatus.
You know what happened? What was going
Okay, so, we're not gonna get into a huge thing about all this discussion, he said and she said and all this stuff, and maybe we should call an
So-
executive,
So-
discussion about this, and we should talk about this.
So-
What do you think, Zach?
Wayne, there've been several people that have reached out to the select board, in a couple of different ways, who've expressed some concerns. That being said, I think what I would like us to probably do is go to executive session so we can talk to you about what some of those concerns are and let you answer to some of those concerns.
I would ask you not go to executive session. Your department has a good representative here tonight. They want to hear too what's going on.
Okay,
Let's leave it open.
Okay, fine,
that's,
that's up to you.
yeah, I mean,
We've had multiple people, what's that?
They put the names out so we can.
Well, it doesn't matter, does it, who says what?
Yeah.
They're part of the department.
They're members of the department?
Yep.
Okay. Why didn't they vote against it when we,
Apparently, some people didn't vote at the meeting,
it's their prerogative?
because they
It's their prerogative, so if
agreed.
they don't like them, so the whole department stops?
so I think, you know,
Well, it's, so the board,
what's concerning, Frank, is what brings us kind of to this juncture is, you know, we were informed that it was a unanimous decision, it was brought to the meeting that it was a unanimous decision, and now we're getting concerns from people that were at that meeting in attendance that didn't vote, or, you know, I guess, from what I understand, it was a voice vote, and abstained from the voice vote for the position. Again, the concerns that are being brought up are performance concerns, and, you know, what it comes down to is really, you know, us making sure that, that we've got the right person in that position, because at the end of the day, it's the select board's decision, it's an appointment that we've allowed, you know, the fire department to provide their recommendation for us to approve, on an annual basis.
The whole department,
but
people
not,
that chose to vote, chose.
well, so there's some other discussion that there's repercussions if people stand up and go against the decision that some other people have, well, what? So they reached out to the boards, now the board's involved in it, it could've all stayed within the department, and then we would take a recommendation, but people have reached out to the board because obviously they feel there's a concern here and a problem, and they want us to talk about it, so that's why we're here, we're doing our job.
Again, and I think that's, part of the reason why the folks that did reach out, wanted to remain anonymous, was because they were fearful of retaliation or repercussions within
Correct.
the fire department.
So you get two people that are disgruntled on the department, doesn't like Wayne, and you're gonna throw it.
I don't think anybody said they don't like Wayne. Nobody ever said they don't
feel he's
like Wayne.
capable of being the chief.
There's some concern about that,
Couple
yes.
do that, and then it just throws all the other votes of all the other guys in the department out the window, because you guys took it upon yourselves to be.
So, but
We took it
again,
upon ourselves.
so, and what I'd say is, you know.
So the concern was, they want to see younger people involved in the fire department. They want younger people to come. They want to see somebody else take charge of the fire department, whatever. But people are concerned about repercussions of the decision that was made. That's what so as a board, we're addressing this because that's what we do. That's our job here as a select board, is to look at
Because
the situation and say,
ultimately, again, I think ultimately pursuant with Vermont state law, and that's where we have to stick with is, you know, it's the select board's responsibility to appoint whoever the chief is. Now, I think to this point, you know, what we have done as a select board, I say we, including past select boards, we've looked to the fire department for a recommendation on who that chief should be, and bring that, you know, to us, and then we make that appointment. Again, what Tristan said is accurate. You know, we have oversight of all functions of the municipality, not just You know, and in this case, the fire department especially, because it's municipal fire department, all of the equipment belongs to the town, the budget's the town's money. We have a responsibility to make sure that what we are doing for the town is correct. So, you know, again, it comes down to, you know, we're reviewing what was presented to us, and what concerns were brought up to us to make sure that those are being, you know, addressed, really was what it comes down to.
It's old, young, training is the top essence. And I think you can see there, more recently, we've brought programs into town, made the training available for department members. We don't say you've got to take it, it's available to you. And again, we're dealing with volunteers, family, time, and all that other stuff is in there too. But we've had a level 1, we've had a level 2. We followed up with that with an EMT program. And we're at the point right now of trying to instigate, propagate another one.
Which, and I'm not
If you
saying
don't
that you're
want
not
me to
doing
be
your
cheap
job.
and don't want me to do that, just say so.
It's not that we don't want or do want anything. We're trying to assess what is being said to make sure that we're addressing the concerns is what it is. So there's more, hold on just a second. I mean, you know, we had an existing chief that all of a sudden, I don't know what kind of happened, but
The rest of us are wondering what happened.
okay, so you gotta understand, as a board sitting here, you know, one minute we're, the fire department's falling apart, but nobody told us about it, and we,
Well, the building.
the building.
The building.
It's leaking, it's whatever, so we have to instantly fix that, so that's kind of a concern. And then we have a fire chief that's, like, all of a sudden doesn't tell the board that, I don't wanna be fire chief anymore. And then we're being told, okay, we're gonna put somebody else in. So it's just a little unsettled right now. We're trying to figure out what's going on. We also have a fire department budget that somebody needs to oversee and make sure that everything is
My
going
past record
smoothly.
is 18 years as chief. Did you have any major trouble with my budgetary effort?
Again, I don't have, you know, I don't know, I don't have that experience, right? I wasn't on.
And no, and you and Dorothy work together and always have for years with the fire department and so on and so forth. So no, you don't have any budgetary problems that I can foresee. So, and you're filling in as chief right now, being that you were assistant chief. We're just trying to figure this all out, and make sure that we're addressing the concerns, because that's what we're supposed to do. If nobody had reached out to us, we wouldn't be having this conversation, but people have reached out. So it means that they are concerned and they've come to the board saying, hey, we're concerned. So that's why we're having this conversation. And as a selectman, my job is to address it with Zach, and Aaron's on the fire department, so he's kind of staying out of it, which makes complete sense. So we're just trying to figure this all out. And I think until we get this kind of figured out, we need to postpone the appointment and for maybe till March when all our other appointments are. And you would still stand in as a chief until that time.
Why would you do that?
Because we haven't resolved this, the concerns and everything. So we're trying to figure out, would that make the most sense to hold off? All the other appointments are done after town meeting, but the fire department's is done now. What?
January 1st.
January.
None of the other appointments that you do in March have a budget the size of the fire department.
So that's interesting.
That's the fire chief's responsibility, that as of January 1st, he's responsible, he or she is responsible for that budget. Cemetery commission, dog catcher, tree warden, they don't
So,
have a budget the size of the
I
fire
guess
department.
my counter argument to that, Dorothy, would be that with a budget that size, you know, and here we find a perfect example. We have a chief that's stepped down in December. Wayne, were you a part of the budgetary process to lay out the budget for 2024?
Not this year, no.
See, so,
He didn't know that-
right,
He didn't know that the
right.
chief was stepping
E-
down.
Exactly, but now he has to answer to a budget that he had no part of. So in my eyes, it actually does make sense for us to align this with everything else because, you know, if the appointment is done in March, the previous, you know, we would hope that the previous, chief, if the chief were to step down again, would be a part of that process. You know, does that make sense?
No.
Okay.
There was also some concerns and some issues about spending within the fire department as far as budgeting and we need to spend money and use it up and this and that and there's been some discussion also.
Or discussion from, and this, you know, kind of from, as of late, the last few years with things being said that they're gonna be spent, they're not being spent. You know, again, it's the budget is, like, to your point, it's a very large budget that has to be maintained and managed. And again, those are all pieces that go into decision-making to make sure that, you know, we have the right oversight over the budget, that the budget's being managed appropriately.
And what's happened is that obviously there's a problem within the station. So now the board's gotten involved is exactly why we're here talking about this. Okay, Dorothy?
So the folks that spoke up against Wayne's appointment, did they have, and you're saying they want, you know, we want young people to be the chief. Did they have other ideas as to who they wanted to appoint as chief?
No.
And who is more qualified than Wayne to be chief?
No,
No?
there wasn't any discussion about that.
Okay.
So they just came to you and said, don't let Wayne be chief because we don't want him?
Well, I think it's a little bit more.
Well, I mean, but-
It's a little bit more to it than that. There were concerns.
There were concerns that, you know,
About-
frankly, some of them are not things that we as a select board are able to address. Specifically, you know, specifically because of, the protected status that those concerns fall under. And again, what it, you know, comes back to is, you know, the ability to complete the job. And, you know, again, those are what those, aside from a couple things that, you know, we are not gonna talk about, that's what it really comes down to is, you know, performance, and, the ability to complete the necessary job requirements of the chief. Which, you know, again, I over the last several days have been looking for information and have not been able to find things like the Groton Volunteer Fire Department bylaws. I don't have a copy, I'm not in the fire department. And again, I will say that this kind of opened a can of worms for me because we have a municipal fire department with a very large budget and we have zero transparency or oversight at the select board level for that.
Well, over the years, many projects have come along. We have availed ourselves and passed them on to the select board or to the clerk's office, copies of some of the said projects. And I use one example. It's the rural hydrant project, where we're putting in, and you were part of it, Tristan, up on Coldwater Brook. There was a great big binder that came to the clerk's office. And there were 3 copies for the selectmen. I don't know if you can find those today. Stuff does come across to you, or has.
And
I
I
don't
think
know what happens to it.
maybe I should be a little bit more clear. You know, yes, there are documents that are passed along from select board member to select board member. We do have files here of some of that stuff. But, you know, again, you know, when we're looking at the budget, you know, the budget that was presented to us for this year, you know, there were some things that were in there with no real justification for change, but it sounds like, you know, again, were those discussed? I have no record or anything to say, was there a discussion within the fire department about what your budget needs to be? Or, you know, what you're, you know, again, all of those pieces, because, you know, I look and I go, I can't find minutes for any fire meetings, you know, previously. Again, I trying to find a copy of bylaws that, you know, that the Groton Fire Department falls under. You know, those are all things that should be, in my opinion, should be open to the public and available. Because we all, including the taxpayers that are paying ultimately paying taxes to fund the budgets, they don't have transparency to that. So, you know.
And we're a little concerned, you know, for our budget this year, there was another $20,000 asked for, and then we have a chief that disappeared. So, you know what I mean? So, okay, so that raises a problem. We're asking for more money, but what? So what I'm trying to say is that we
Well, here's another example. We had hose testing done this year.
right,
A lot of it, due to age,
right,
didn't pass. Pressurized, it did pass. And the other new rule that NFPA come up, if this stuff is 6 years old, it goes.
okay.
It can pass the pressure test, all that, but if it's 6 years old, it's gone. So, a large hose roller, I guess, is out there somewhere. And I just got information the other day, that isn't gonna be here till March.
Okay.
Yeah. So
as you can see, this is part
It
of
doesn't
why.
matter if I'm chief, not appointed or standing chief right now, I've got a lot of stuff still there to fix.
Okay.
And if you've got questions like, I'd like to see the bylaws, we can find them. How many copies you want?
No, I mean, I just.
So the rest of the hose story is that hose would have worked under pressure until the new hose got here. But the past chief took it all, cut the couplings off, and it's gone. So if we have a fire on Christmas Day and we need 2,000 feet of 4-inch hose, like we did last Christmas Day, we ain't got it. Because.
So, and again, you know, Dorothy,
So that's, I mean,
the prior chief is gone, we can't, you know, again, we can't
and he's
fix those
completely
things.
done off the department and like completely like that's it.
Retired.
And so, you know,
Okay.
again, what it comes down to some of that stuff is, you know, and this is questions that have been asked at budget day for the last several years, are things around, what is the plan, right? Putting in a whole, you know, going through and doing hose testing, you know, what is the plan to save for when we need to replace hose? What are the ongoing things that the fire department is doing to make sure that durable goods are inspected and replaced as needed, and we've budgeted for that appropriately, right?
Okay.
Because what we've seen, and I say this because we've seen this last year and the year before, and I believe the year before that, the chief came to us and said, we need more money in the reserve because we're spending more money on this stuff. Yet that money's not flowing out of the reserve fund. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You know, so it's, you know, if we're doing testing on our hoses, you know, what is the plan to have that replaced? And again, I mean, if there's an order for hoses out there, I would assume that it would be larger than $1,000 and the select board should see it. And I don't think we've seen it at all.
It's 4,000 and you signed off on it. We've got the
Okay.
PO that's signed.
Okay.
Okay, so probably 5 or 8 years ago, Brent Abear and Brent Smith did a capital plan budget. So in 2000, we're gonna do this, in 2001, we're gonna do this, and spread it all out and had all of our durable equipment. Everything that needed to be replaced on the timeline that it needed to be replaced. That plan has not been followed for the last 4 years. It is a plan,
Because the chief that wasn't following it,
exactly.
the chief that was a selectman too,
Yes, exactly.
okay.
Brent Abear and Brent Smith put hours into this. It was literally this big, spread out 10 or 15 years, and it's never been followed.
Okay.
The last 4 years.
Okay, so, and we can sit here and discuss this all night long. I feel like we're not really ready. We need to do some more research and have some more discussion before we just approve the nomination. So I feel like we need to put this off and do some more.
You say you want to do research, so you're gonna, someone brought you questions.
So we're not gonna just go,
You're
okay,
gonna-
yep, it's all good now, is what I'm trying to say. We're gonna look into it and figure out what the deal and what's going on.
The accusations that this person brought to you, you're gonna try to.
It's an investigation, right? Like, we wanna just look into it and see what's going on before we make a decision, and I think that's fair.
Well,
So
besides
what you want,
bylaws,
fire department have to input to that?
I think,
Hold on.
I think, you know,
Second, okay.
I was gonna offer, if you want bylaws or copies of our minutes, I have them now in
Okay,
my position, and I can also have them dropped off to Gary or whoever if you would like those.
okay,
They're up to date up to the election of officers.
okay.
okay, thank you.
No, I think that would be, I think that would be very, very good. So thank you. So, you know, I think part of it too is, right, we need to, from an oversight standpoint, as much as, yes, we want to trust our fire department and, you know, what you guys are talking about and all of that. Your input is valuable when it comes to these decisions. But, you know, again, with some of the concerns that were brought up, we really need to evaluate to make sure that, you know, we're supporting a decision for the right and qualified candidate for that role. And that's not to say that Wayne's not, and that's what I think what we're wanting to look at is make sure that we fully understand and support appropriately any appointment we make. And that goes for any appointed position that we've got. If there's a concern about any of our appointments, you know, we would do the same thing to ensure that, you know, that the person that we're putting into that job is properly qualified. And, you know, meets what is going to be required of that position. And I think one of the pieces of that is, you know, what does that mean? What does that look like? What are the expectations, you know, of the chief? You know, again, that's why looking at stuff like the fire department bylaws, what does it say and outlines of the duties and responsibilities of the chief of the fire department? Same thing with going to state regulations. What are the, you know, what are those job responsibilities and requirements? Because we want to make sure, if it's Wayne, if it's anybody, we want to make sure that they're meeting those qualifications appropriately.
Do you guys want a copy of our current active members also to compare with the?
That would be good, yeah,
people
we'd
that
like to know.
may have said something like that?
They've got the attendance.
I've got the last attendance sheet
Okay.
here that
Okay.
you need back, right? You need that.
You guys can't even enlighten us on what the accusations were that this person confirmed.
Well, if there's problems that can be fixed, if we have no idea what the heck they
Yeah,
are.
you don't know what they are, and you come back, no, we're not gonna let Wayne be chief because we can't tell you.
Yeah.
I think we can have discussions individually about it, but I think at the meeting isn't really appropriate to discuss this. So we need to do have some more discussion about it and some conversations. So I guess for the time being, somehow we need
That's part of the
to.
follow-up that we need to do is we need to have some of those, you know, individually, we need to have some of those conversations to better understand some of that because, you know, to your point, Frank, I mean, and I think this is, I can understand it as a concern is, you know, if there are concerns,
You know when it is, you could
correct.
address this.
Well, and I think,
Accusations, I mean,
you know, again, what I would also say is, and this is kind of a statement at large to anybody in the fire department, or in the town, is if somebody has a dissenting opinion or or has a counter, or has concerns, they need to be able to voice those without retaliation. And I think that's part of the reason why the folks have reached out. They're concerned about, you know, being retaliated against, you know, because they disagreed. And again, that.
That's what we had an election, an open election, so people could say.
I don't know, you know.
Well, but again, I think that was part of what was described is people didn't vote because they were afraid that there was going to be, negative connotations to their.
If they don't trust a fellow firefighter, they shouldn't be on the department.
Well, I don't know if it's quite that simple, but
Well, it is.
thank you, Frank. Dorothy?
I guess that's my biggest concern is that people who ever think there's gonna be repercussions. I don't know what that is or how anybody has ever been, treated differently or had any repercussions against them in the past. We're a pretty tight, small group, and we pretty much say what we wanna say at a meeting. We have disagreements at the meetings, people, give different opinions, whatever. So that's one of the things that I have a problem with, that people are saying that there are gonna be repercussions against them.
Well-
What does that mean? We're gonna hold them down out back?
No, but is it, like it's a good old boys club, like there's a group, the fire department needs new people to get involved, right? We need new members, so when you say, well, if it hurts your feelings, I guess you shouldn't be on the department, well, if everybody says you hurt my feelings and, okay, I'm not gonna be on the department, we have no department left,
I don't
I
think that's
guess.
what Frank said.
So-
I think what Frank said was,
You
Yeah, we have the
talk to
support of
us
each
out in the open.
And you're saying that we've had numerous discussion about, it's really hard to get people to be involved in the fire department, that's why we spend money and they go get trained and then they quit, and that's just the losses you take sometimes. I can remember hearing that from the chief, who said that. I said, Jesus, we spent a lot of money, we sent somebody to all this training and then they quit. So that was just, you know what I mean? So we're just trying to make sure that,
And I'll say, and then Wayne, I'll let you, as I've looked at what the state statutes are, look through what it means to be the chief, right? It's an important role. It's an extremely important role. And, one of the things that I want to make sure that we're able to know with Wayne or anybody that's the chief, right, is that, when there is a fire call, that the scene's gonna be handled appropriately. And I'm not gonna say that Wayne doesn't know how to do that. He's got 57 years of experience. But, again, it's the responsibility of the fire department and in town, and we will end up having to answer to it more often than not, is what if something's handled inappropriately at the scene, right? What happens if something's not handled correctly? Those are things that, I only know Wayne's experience from what I know from being in town. I'm not on the fire department, so, because again, for any positions, if any firefighter, including the chief, makes an inappropriate decision, you're protected, right? There's no liability to you as an individual for something that's done improperly when it comes to fighting a fire, whether it's improper or not. So again, I just want to underscore that, that's why I feel we need to take a very important, we need to take this very strong stance and make sure that we're, meeting what those specifications are and what they need to be.
Well, again, with recruitment and retention, I'm not naming names, but we had some individuals that went off, took an EMT course. Well, with state licensure, state certification, there is a heavy-duty background check. And if you don't pass the background check, you don't take the exam, you don't get your certs. The other thing is, we're starting to see other departments do a similar thing with individuals come through the door. And when we mention that, we will be doing background checks as the application is handed across. We never see the application, we never see the person back through the door. And tragically, I'll use Boy Scouts of America as an example. We were putting together a youth cadet corps where they got going maybe for a few months. But one of the parents that signed up wanted to help out, couldn't even pass a Boy Scout of America background check. So we had to very politely tell them, sorry, you can't be working with these youth. The other side of it is, we've got a lot of people here in town, but it's family, work, sleep, work, family. There's not a heck of a lot of wiggle room left to get involved with fire department. The other side of it too, there's more and more hours being asked for the training side of things. And what we've tried to do historically is be a host for a regional program. So our people don't have to travel 40 some odd miles. We had people going as far as what, Morrisville? Danville, some of these other places.
Okay, and I understand that, which is great.
It just gets to be harder and harder to, you know, after you get them in the door, here's your gear, this is the truck, this is the nozzle, this is the pump. Oh,
Yep.
here's the syllabus for the training. Oh, geez, I can't do that. See you later, bye.
So I get that. I understand. But, so at this point, we're going to
I
push off the appointment. We need to postpone the appointment, accepting the appointment to the nomination, I guess, at this point, right, Zach?
I would say that's probably, you know, the most prudent thing for us to do. I mean, it doesn't really, from the fire department's perspective, it doesn't affect their leadership structure right now because Wayne's currently the acting chief as it is.
Correct.
And I think, you know, again, we need to make sure that we've got everything, you know, that we're taking the appropriate time to make the appropriate decision.
Okay, so when is that time frame? Are we?
I am okay with doing it in March, but I would say, you know, if we feel like we need to change that, we can change that.
Okay, so let's postpone until March.
And then we'll keep this as a regular item on the
Discussion.
agenda.
Yeah.
So,
I'm a fairly new firefighter, so to speak, so I'd be happy to meet with any of you guys to tell you my experience of joining the fire department in the last 6 months.
Okay. Thank you.
thanks, yep.
So I guess that's the decision
I think, yeah,
for now, because we're gonna hold off until March.
And I would say, you know, you can feel free to stop in on Tuesday nights when we have weekly meetings.
Okay.
You know, stop in and see how things work, flow.
It's not, it's not,
But you know,
that's not what it's about, to be quite honest with you.
So that kind of gets an idea.
Well, and I've been to, I've stopped in for a couple of meetings, but again, I mean, I think, you know, it's more than just, I think, me getting my head around what happens in the fire department, but, you know, ultimately my thought is, you know, transparency with the fire department to the town, you know, and you know, I personally feel, and, you know, this is probably something we can discuss at a later time, so we don't hold up the rest of the meeting, but, you know, I really feel like, you know, as a municipal fire department, just like the municipal library, we should be following open meeting laws, and we should be posting this stuff and being and obviously that's only for things like business. If you're having a meeting and it's training, that, you know what I mean, that training is different
I
than.
think that got looked into a few years ago, and I think Carrie had looked into it, and we didn't have to post our agenda. And I don't remember what the reason was, but I think that was looked into several years ago when all the open law stuff came in.
Okay.
So,
But you're welcome to come anytime and sit in the meeting. It would be good to have a selectman there.
Thank you for inviting.
No, it would be, and then you can see what's going on and have a voice in it. You know, you don't
Which
have
is
to be-
fine, except that we're also trying to run the town.
Yeah.
The
But I mean, it's
overall
just kinda,
thing, so,
you gotta look at it on fire department's side here. We voted him in and one disgruntled or two disgruntled firefighters didn't like what the outcome was, but they come running to you guys and say, well, we don't want it. Okay, let's stop now. They had their chance at the meeting to say no.
And if it was that simple.
And so now we voted them in. We've got 10 people voted them in, standing here, you're going, well, geez, we really want to look into what this person said. We don't want to listen to you other 10 guys, what we're saying.
Yeah, but
What are you
it wasn't
telling the
just
fire
a simple,
department? You
a
don't
couple
trust
of
it.
people that said
No, it's-
something, so it was multiple things, so
It's not that we
that's
don't
why
trust
we're
it
looking into
either.
this.
Yeah, it's not that we don't trust the fire department. I think we all have
You don't
a deep
trust our-
respect.
Who we elected?
What it comes down to is we have oversight, and when it comes to oversight and questions are raised, you know, we can't just say, no, we're not gonna worry about that question, we're just gonna drive through with this, right? We you know,
That isn't how it-
that's,
that is how it
we have to, you know, whenever it goes for anything, I mean, it's the same thing when, you know, Jim was the constable and we had concerns, we had to question those things too, and we're not questioning it because we don't trust you, we just, you know, it's the old Reagan saying, right? We gotta trust but verify. That's what it comes down to. We gotta make sure that we have everything, you know, understood appropriately before we make decisions.
So the other thing that's happened in the past, more than once, is that somebody says, we want a paper ballot. And then we do a paper ballot, and there was never any concern, or nobody brought up any idea of, A, we have another candidate that we want to put in, or B, we want to do a paper ballot. So this is kind of after the horse has been let out of the barn here. And sorry, one other thing I want to just bring up quickly. Over the years, in past years, we used to bring all of our training certificates and all of our records would come over here. We'd have a copy in the station, we'd have a copy over here. And then one day I said, where are those training records? And they didn't have any idea. And I mean, this is past history, but that's one of the reasons why you may not find things, is because we brought it over for years and years and years, but there's never been a filing system, or where is it? I mean, these were state certified courses. It wasn't like, you know, it was stuff that needed to be on record, that members had taken it to prove that we had trained people.
And it disappeared.
And it's, nobody has any idea where it is, or where it went.
And what I'd say to that, Dorothy, is, and I think that is, you know, understanding what was done in the past that worked, and we need, and things that we probably should be doing. Those are things that we need to, those are the things that frankly need to be brought to the select board so we can help move those things forward and improve things. I mean, we that's the other part of this, right? We're here to help support the fire department as much as we're here to oversee the fire department from a budgetary and you know, from a town perspective, right? So again, I mean, when there's things that need to be handled, you know, and need to be addressed, and questions like that, you know, where are we filing these documents? Do we need to file those documents? So let's bring it to the select board meeting. Let's document it. Let's get it on record, and let's move forward on it. You know, because then it becomes that becomes permanent, or it should become permanent until the select board decides otherwise.
Okay, so we have to move on with our meeting, so I'm gonna cut it there, and that's our decision for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
And we wanna jump to you.
Yes.
So, assessor.
I have two documents that need to be signed.
Okay.
The grant that we got from the Agency of Administration, State of Vermont, it's Municipal Technical Assistance Response. They need a letter signed by the select board that you're accepting that grant. So I've got a letter written here. It says, and we added a line, I applied for $500. But they're talking about trying to get us more money in order to laminate maps. So I just said, they're currently working to determine the actual cost of the project. And I've talked with the two people that are doing this.
Okay.
And then the other one is the yearly form, that's the errors and omissions. certificate. This was a property that there'd been an error in acreage on the property card and was corrected with the survey after the final grand list. We got the documents after the final grand list was presented.
Okay.
So, and this is just a yearly form that we do this time of year.
Okay.
So if you want to just sign those, and then I'll just give you the folder, and you can just put it back in the folder, and I'll get it tomorrow,
All right.
or whatever. Thank you.
Sounds good. Okay, thank you, George.
You're welcome. We're working on the properties for the statistical reappraisal, and we're going to be sending letters out to the 44 properties that we've randomly selected.
Okay.
So they'll be getting the letters after the first year. I'm not gonna mail them out Christmas week, so.
Good.
But that's moving along.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Dorothy.
Okay, let's see, so we're talking about VORAC grant, RFPs and bids and stuff, which I'm assuming that's why Gary's here, so.
How do we got like 30 or more.
Okay.
I think I'm the only one here.
Yeah.
Mike's in Florida.
Yeah, Mike, okay, so you're the star.
There you go. It has just been crazy, plus Carrie just handed me a bunch more. So sitting there sorting them out, I guess I gotta put them into 3 different piles, and then you guys look at them? That'll work.
That's fine, yeah.
You know, I just was just amazed. The first round we didn't hear a peep.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And this is for, there's 3 different bids.
Right.
This is for culvert replacements.
That's right.
Regrading the railroad bed. And
Is that
building the
gravel?
trailhead parking area.
Yeah, that's right. Gotcha.
And some of these are double-sided, so you can have, you gotta be careful, and they got some of the liability insurance with them.
Okay, all right.
It's,
Guess you could just announce each one and how much, right, and.
Yeah. We can do that. Or however.
Whatever's easiest, Gary, just let us.
Whatever's easiest, quickest.
Just announce.
I'm usually getting 1 or 2.
Right.
Not 15 for each.
All right, so you're gonna tell me the name and the amounts, I guess, is the bottom line
And
for
the
the
read 'em out?
minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So do you want to work 1 RFP at a time?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
Okay.
Do people file them together, they jointly file?
Oh, yeah.
3.
Most people submitted 3. So let's just work on the culvert one first.
Okay, yeah, sounds
All
good.
right. So, this is Blue Mountain Trucking. $12,300. What other information do you need?
I don't think I need to.
No,
I think that'd be good, yep.
Yeah.
J. McDonald.
J.A.?
Yeah,
Okay,
Jay.
I'm sorry.
102,000.
Apparently they didn't understand something about the bid or something.
Must be really deep culverts.
Or is that including?
I don't know, it just says JD excavator, triaxle dump truck. No, it says excavator, dozer, dump truck, pickup truck, miscellaneous hand tools. I don't know.
So that would be for the whole job then,
Yeah,
not
it's
just
just-
culverts then, right?
The form you filled out was culvert replacing.
Okay, okay. Well, that's fine. Is what it is.
We broke it out as different
Yep,
drawings.
that's fine.
Let's see what these are. So.
we were both, we were sitting there, but I don't know. You know if I was supposed to leave.
Yeah, it's fine.
I know you guys are fussy about it.
We got a night.
Alright. Trailer parking. Grading. Okay, color replacement, this is MSI Trucking and Site Work. $10,000 even. R.A. Filskov, Filskov and Sons. 54,500.
Okay. Wow. 100,000, 50,000.
Yeah,
I got two at 10 and 12.
K&S Construction. 18,000 with metal culverts, 16,000 if we wanted to go with plastic culverts.
What was,
We asked for metal.
so,
We'll go off metal.
so it'd be metal, it's not.
Yeah.
Okay,
But people were pushing hard. Oh, you really ought to go plastic culvert.
but that's not the bid.
But I wanted everybody to be consistent. I said, you can put an option, but.
Right.
This company is, I think it's Mungan, M-U-N-G-A-N, Excavation LLC. And their culvert one is 22,000.
Okay.
It could be M-A-N, Mangan.
M-A-N-G-A-N? Okay,
It looks like more of an A in this one.
all right.
What about on their they have an insurance thing, it should spell there.
Which one had that?
Oh, no, it's on the one you got now, I guess,
Oh.
okay.
Next one is Kurt Fenoff and Son Excavating LLC. 19,500. Hogan Excavating, 10,600.
Okay, so we have two that are pretty close.
Isaiah Excavating. $19,800. Barry's didn't, Derek Barry only submitted 2.
And his company's name Derek Berry?
Yes, but he didn't submit a culvert.
Okay.
So there's what, 3 different parts of the project
They're all bid out.
that are bid out separately, so you could potentially, so we have 3 different contracts, somebody will come do the culverts, then somebody's,
What timelines in there?
okay, alright. So, obviously, there was 2 for $10,000, which are pretty close.
Want to compare those 2 little bidders?
Yeah, I guess the 2 low bidders,
MSI and Hogan. Blue Mountain Trucking was
Yeah.
okay. with it.
12,000, yeah.
Look at that one too. The 108,000, the 105,000 one's out.
Yeah.
That one's way outside of the ballpark.
10,000.
Twenty-two and 19.
There's two $10,000 ones.
There's three in close.
Yeah, Blue Mountain Trucking
Blue
and,
Mountain,
So Blue Mountain is 12.3. MSI is 10 even. And Hogan Excavating out of Cabot is 10.6.
okay.
now where's MSI out?
So let me just read through the MSI. See if anything steps out of the red flag.
So can we make this go a little faster, Gary, by somehow,
Sure.
we would pick the lowest bidder, but,
All those three bids and then.
yeah, but make sure he's qualified, you know, he's gonna do the same work as the next bidder, I guess, somehow we gotta review him,
How do
right?
you do that?
Well, they each have a write-up, right?
Well, I would say,
There's referrals, preferences.
so what if we just look at the bottom three bidders? Because there's so many. We'll look at the bottom three bidders and we do first choice, second choice, third choice. And if the first choice doesn't work out, then we go to the second choice, then you go to the third choice. That way, if one of them doesn't pan out, doesn't have insurance, doesn't meet.
I think your RFP rule. Harold can maybe help make us a copy of his templates, but
I copied the ones that I had too.
I think you have some guidelines about selecting people. I think you might even have something about being local, possibly in there.
I know repeats contractors are sometimes.
Preferred.
No, we can do preferred, but, I mean, when we look at the bids, it's price and then it's,
Right.
you know, we can look at who's local versus not local.
I mean, the select board has the option not to take the cheapest.
Right.
Yeah, I just, there was some
Yeah.
rules in his template.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all I'm referring
I can't see why there would be any reason why we wouldn't take the lowest bid, so.
to.
Right.
Yeah, is anything standing
Unless he
out?
wasn't qualified in insurance or materials were, you know, he wasn't
Well,
providing
that's
the same
MSI, right?
materials.
MSI Trucking and Site Work
They're out of Morrisville,
Manufacturing Solutions,
so,
Lowest one was MSI, right?
yeah, at 10,000.
$600.
yeah, which, a bid's a bid,
Mm-hmm.
so we would take that. Do we wanna keep, what do we want to do? I'm just trying to move us along, Gary.
Looking at the other.
Yeah, let's start looking at the other
This
one.
is, hold on, though, this is,
I mean, you're gonna have
So
another
are we-
MSI and you're possibly for everything, so.
so we're removing 7 culverts and replacing 1?
You're removing 7, installing 8, one's an end. And you-
Added,
Wooden culvert, 7 and 1.
Yeah, but new culvert, 1 15 by 20 culvert.
you try
This
to
is
say-
not,
I think it's
What
just,
do you see?
the way that
this is just for 1 culvert, it looks like. The way he's got it written, it doesn't look like
Well,
it's.
so when you reach out, who's in charge of that, like reaching out to the contractor each? Okay, well, you would, generally, when you go over a job, you say, okay, so, you know, you were the lowest bidder to put in 8 new blah, blah, blah.
I took
Do you,
many people on a tour.
so you accept that, and then they say, yep, then that, they got the job. But if they said, oh, I didn't know I was putting in 8, I thought I was only putting in 1. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
then
so-
they can reject and say,
But-
I pull my bid,
The RFP was to remove 7
install
and
8.
install.
8, remove 7.
Yeah, right. And then that's,
I think they're saying we're putting in 1 brand new one, but then 7 existing ones we're swapping out.
Replacing.
Yeah, so,
it says 1. Is that the price for 1?
yeah, maybe all culverts will be 15 by 20 feet. Never says they're replacing it. we'll be removing.
See, a
this.
new culvert is
Yeah.
one 15 by 20 foot culvert.
Yeah,
15
because
inches
they're
by 20
replacing
foot.
7 existing and putting one in brand new location. So I think that's where it's
We have
confusing.
plenty
He
of
never
stuff
has
to cover.
wording in here that says he's pulling them out and replacing them, but he does
And we
say
get
all
out at
culverts
8,
will be
so-
15 by
I
20.
think what he meant here is will be replaced.
Yes, will be removed and
Next will be
replaced.
Let me just
the,
clarify that.
let's do the,
I think we go with that.
the rural bid, grading.
Let me see, Hogan's and Cabot, and
So the first one is MSI.
so that's, well, just do it that way.
$5.82 per foot.
582 for a foot.
580,
Per linear foot.
82 cents.
He listed a lump sum, should I state that also?
How is it bidded? How is,
Per foot.
so then it doesn't matter what the lump sum person, it's per
So
foot.
582. That's less than what the state paid in 2020. Thank you. Barry's Forest Products, $6.19.
Berry Forest.
Forest,
Products.
you guys down by the school. Isaiah Excavating, $10.50. Hogan Excavating, $5.26. Kirk Benoff and Son Excavating, $7 even. Mangan or Mungan Excavating, $11.19. R.A. Filskov, Filskov and Sons, $15 per foot. King's Trucking and Excavating, $5.50 a foot. J. McDonald, $14.07 a foot. Blue Mountain Trucking, $5.23 a foot.
Who's got it? Here.
523,
Moving out trucking.
Hogan is 526, and MSI is 582.
Okay, so Blue Mountain Trucking has it.
Looks like it. King's is 550.
MSI was close at 582.
Yeah, let's see what it looks like with the others.
I'll give you the four.
I'm wondering,
Yeah, MSI, Hogan.
I'm wondering if, I'm assuming they're all gonna do the same length of road, of railroad bed,
Right.
We gave you the length.
22,350 feet.
It's about 4.23 miles, isn't it?
Something like that. Like right there, look at that.
Slick.
That was pretty slick right there. That was almost heavy.
Yes, the local is not in it, but bidder's experience and reputation, including past performance for the town of Groton, is in the weighing and scoring.
Well, I think that's good that you get different people to do different parts of the job.
Yeah, that was our goal.
That's good. Okay.
As opposed to having one person that does all of it. Is
Right.
Well, we're hoping like the culverts, a
More.
smaller operation could have taken that out.
Yeah, more, we could get more people to.
Okay, next is trailhead parking.
Yeah, it would be, well, as far as Blue Mountain Trucking is the lowest bidder.
That's where we start.
Yep. He's lowest to highest. I mean,
Okay.
I don't really know.
Yeah, right here.
Next is trailhead parking. This is the total job price. And this is the Derek Berry, which was the Berry Forestry Products.
Yep.
6,250. Isaiah Excavating, 19,000.
Big difference there.
Hogan Excavating, 9,850. Kirk Fenoff and Son Excavating. Oh, there it is. Put it way down. 7,800. Mannigan Excavation, 46,500.
What was the amount, sorry?
46,500.
K&S Construction, 11,500. R.A. Philscott and Sons, he wrote it only because it was, I had to correct a lot of people. He said 1,000 per hour, minimum of 10 hours, so I would read it as 10,000.
Right.
So 10,000?
10,000.
MSI, 24,000. King's Trucking and Excavating, 9,500. J. McDonald, 44,680. Blue Mountain just has a per hour price.
They say how many hours?
No.
Okay, then it's not a good bid.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that one's rejected.
Yeah.
So lowest bid was
Berry Forestry,
Berry Forestry at 6,000.
62.5.
Okay.
Yeah, 6,250. Kurt Fenoff was 7,800.
Okay.
Kings was 9,000. Hogan was 9,850.
That's 3 different low bidders. And it's possible that you can contact one and they say, well, if I didn't get the other stuff, then I don't want to do it.
That's true too.
So, you know,
Yeah,
so there's other people.
that's kind of the way I got these, I'll hand these off to, but lowest bidder to highest bidder, the top 3 or 4. And then, you know, if we talk to the first one, and they say that same thing, then we can move to the second one.
So it's Berry Forestry Products, this one.
And how J. McDonald works is they just throw a bid out, and if nobody else bids, then they get the job.
Yeah.
Because they have bigger things to. Yeah. So that's good. That's the whole point of the thing. So it was good.
So, yeah, here's that.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot of work, Gary.
It's a lot of bids.
Yeah.
There was a lot of triples there.
I don't know, is that, Harold, have you ever had more bids than that on a project?
I usually only get 3 anyways.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive, though, really, just to get that much interest. I mean, I've never heard of these. I've never heard of Kings or some of these people.
And he got it out in all these spots.
Yeah.
He wasn't here to open any of
And I'm really nervous about tomorrow, because my phone was ringing all day today. I want to know what the decision was.
So can I just double check the culvert replacement is MSI? Okay, all right.
You good on the
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
She wanted you to get a hold of her as soon as, she wanted you to get a hold of her as soon as you can, Jay McDonald.
Like now.
She's like, when will they tell us?
Well,
I'm like,
geez.
oh my God.
Thank you, Gary. Is that it? For you, good?
Well, IT isn't up yet, is it?
No? Oh, you gotta.
Unless you wanna go home, we can do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you wanna,
yeah,
unless you wanna just cover it and,
go home.
You're the leader.
okay, let's hear it.
We bought a new copier, that was delivered and set up this week.
Okay,
Girls tell me if it's working or not, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't had any training, but
It's the same.
I don't think it's that much different.
Screen's a little different, but it's the same thing I'm looking at, really.
Yeah, just bigger, better. They go like the Dr. Peter a lot better. They'll be straighter.
Seems,
And so the next part of that step is to, and thank you for whoever brought the other machine downstairs. That I'll reconfigure that to work in the Lister area. So that'll bring the scanning capabilities down the Lister area, which is be a huge thing. And then we'll dispose of the CopyStar in there. PCs are next on my list, and I still have more stuff at the library to do.
okay.
My trails are almost ready unless I lost them all with the rain, I don't know.
Okay.
But I got them all cut out. 20 volunteers, 5 chainsaws of gas, 100 miles on my sled Friday and Saturday. With them all cut out.
Then it rained and you probably have to do all that again.
Yeah, and then, but unfortunately we had our first accident.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, any questions for me?
No, good job.
Good job, yeah, thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Gary, for all the work you've done on that stuff. Oh, no, we have budget approval.
Budget approval
How much for the fund balance for 2024?
and the
The,
Blue Cross Blue Shield
yeah, final approval.
insurance final approval. We probably want to start with the last one first.
Labor relations.
Yeah, the Blue Cross Blue Shield final approval.
That's fine. Yeah, we can start with that. But we,
Do we want to go into executive session to discuss all of that with the employees? Is that what the employees
Okay.
would like?
executive session,
Okay.
7:17.
We want
Are we going up
to,
office?
yep. All right,
Okay, we're out of executive session.
at 7:32. 7:35.
Messy.
Start joking.
All right. So, I'll put it here.
So no decisions made in executive session. And
What we're deciding to do. Today's the 20th, right?
It is the 20th, yeah.
20th.
You got 5 more days to buy me something for Christmas.
And we're not making any changes to the insurance plan. We're gonna stay to the gold
Okay,
plan.
so no changes on insurance, 15%,
Yep.
85,
1585, it'll be the gold
and it's the
plan.
gold plan.
That's right. There you go.
Do we need anything or,
Do it all official, so it's all good.
a motion? Did you make you made, okay, I
I
seconded
don't
it.
think we need to make a motion. We're not
Okay.
doing any changes, right? We're not changing anything. We don't need to make
Yeah, I
a
don't
motion to
think so.
change anything.
Sounds good.
Or, I mean, we can make a motion to say we're sticking with the same thing.
Go ahead. It's not gonna hurt anything.
Yep. All right.
Okay,
Make a motion that the select board for the year of 2024, that the town of Groton will cover eligible full-time employees and elected officials following insurance benefits. Employee contribution rate for health insurance premium will be 15%. Town covers 85% of health insurance premium in HRA. The health insurance plan coverage of the gold plan with Blue Cross Blue Shield, and it's gonna cover the single plan, two-person plan, and family plans.
Second that motion.
Did it all in one breath.
And we already had discussion on it, which we're staying the same, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. Next thing, is the budget approval, fund balance, use, BCBS,
Alright.
what's that, BCB?
That's Blue, that's the.
Yeah, Blue Cross Blue, yes, here we go, we already got that.
All right,
So we got the budget,
I think our budget's all set.
yeah, the budget is
So-
all set.
I'll say, so that it's on record for all those out there watching the video.
Before you do, the only thing that I realized I didn't do, because I didn't talk to Sarah about it, was
The library.
we had talked about cutting their new person's budget, like maybe 3 months, because she doesn't figure she'll have somebody for January, February, March, so why budget paying somebody for those
3 months.
3, 4,
Yep.
months?
Okay,
So this doesn't reflect taking out those 3 months, so if that's what you want me to do,
well, it seems like that makes sense, there's no sense of putting it in the budget if,
They don't have any intention on filling that position.
right.
I asked
Well, but we're
her,
not-
she said they weren't, she didn't have anyone on the radar, so she can't.
How much money we think talking, I mean, for 3 months, it's not that much really, right?
Well, probably be $5,000, what's it, 20,000, was it $20,000 for the whole thing, so if you figured
Yeah, got it.
Quarter.
4 or 5 grand?
Yeah.
4 grand? I don't know,
Well,
no,
probably a couple thousand.
35, 462,
Yeah, probably 2,000 to 3,000.
okay. Either way, I
Here's
don't
what
know if it's a deal.
We can make
I
that,
mean,
I mean, I think it's fine either way.
So leave it alone
I
or
say,
cut it?
I don't know, what do you,
Just leave it alone.
I'd say leave it alone, yeah. I mean,
Best case scenario, they find somebody, right?
Right,
Yeah, right, let's hope they.
January 18th, somebody walks through the door.
well, I mean, the other thing too is, I mean, it's part of the budget, so if they hire somebody and then the budget's not approved,
Yeah.
that is its own problem in itself.
okay, so that's the same,
So it's-
so
Just leave it be and,
leave it be, so at the end of the day, the total increase is 40, right?
so, for the municipal budget
43.
is,
Oh, yeah,
is,
43,
yeah, 34, the highway budget's 8,500, total is $43,334 increase in the budget, which equals 3.6, increase of this year's budget over last year.
And just to say one more thing, the only thing we don't still have is the NIMRIC fees. I think I said that to you in an email.
Okay,
Right,
So like that exact figure you're saying is probably gonna change a little,
may adjust, yep.
but it shouldn't be too much because it's
We,
hundreds of
we
dollars.
plugged in our best
We
guess.
plugged in
Yeah.
last year's figures, so.
Yeah.
So, and with all, with, look, the budget, I guess things of note in the budget that were increases were things like the ambulance, contract was a very large
health
increase.
insurance was up.
Health insurance, there was an increase.
Adding assistant librarian.
Adding the assistant
Right.
librarian,
There was something
position.
else that was big that was up too, I can't remember what.
Okay, because I think you're right, there was one other big thing.
I don't remember what it was. No, weed wasn't that big. Fuel lines were up and across every.
So 80,
Well, we put more in the reappraisal because of that happening.
That's right.
Yeah,
Oh,
more in
right,
the
right.
audit because that figure, that
Right.
figure was
Correct.
wiped out.
Right, okay,
that
so,
was yeah, that's the assistant
and our
library.
fund balance is 67,853, so, could-
Well, no,
no,
first page.
First, so, yeah, this form always confuses the crap out of me. That's just the difference.
So what I'm showing you is the fund balance for the general fund is 378,000, blah,
Okay.
blah, blah. But you really need to take out, if you look above where I starred, the 206,000 in that surplus account.
Of course, that's the
That's already
CD
been assigned
reserve.
to this project.
right,
Correct.
So I didn't want you to think we have all of that money.
Well, what we really have is $171,679 17 cents.
So the 171 plus
Okay.
highway 67. Which
Plus the
remember,
highway
Okay,
67.
okay.
yeah,
Which is 238.
because remember they got
You got that written down?
But if
two
we
extra
just,
highway
Let's do the
payments.
math quick.
right. But if we
I'm
just
gonna go with your math.
use a little bit of it and balanced out the difference in the budget this year, that would be a good way to be. Right?
So I mean, I think at a minimum, we should cover the increase.
Yeah, but I don't think we should go, I think just to cover it would be good.
Yeah, I
We
think-
don't have to go
Right.
get too carried away.
Well, you could do the increase, which we know isn't to the penny, because we're waiting those last few figures, so it's 34,789, so if you did 35 for the general fund, 10,000 for the highway fund.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But in a sense, you should do more for the highway fund, because they're not gonna get those two other payments. So they're gonna have less revenue this year.
oh, then,
Because of the flooding, the state decided to give all the towns your next two state highway payments. So next year, instead of having 68, you're only gonna have the 34, because we got all that this year. We got the two extra payments this year. We're not gonna get it next year.
so,
So to make up that difference, you probably should do 30,000 highway
34,000.
and 35 town.
okay, so that's 65,000 fund balance.
Whatever.
Can I voice my opinion on the highway budget?
Sure.
I would love to see the fund balance zeroed out, go right back into as far as the highway. I
Okay.
mean, I don't see a reason to have a fund balance for the highway department.
Okay,
I mean, I think, the only thing I would say is, you know, having a small fund balance is just to cover if you go over budget this year. So, you know, again, for whatever reason, there's we get hit with 5 days a week of snow and you guys blow your budget right out. You see what I'm saying? That'd be the only reason to have a little bit in there. But, I mean,
if we don't,
Question
don't
is
want it, then
how
we won't
much-
put it in there.
how much did it grow from last year to this year?
Not much if you take out those two payments. Two
So-
extra payments, 'cause that's
So
the
and
basis
those
of fund
those
balance.
payments were, how much were they each?
32,
So total,
4.
so total, that's making up the majority, like almost to the dollar, all of their,
If you see this year's current year's fund balance is 36,000. Last year's fund balance is 31 for highway,
so those two payments total were $36,000.
just about.
So, I mean, do you want to hold that because you're not going to get that funding next year and the year after, or
Well, you won't get it, you'll get it the year after.
you won't get it 2024?
Right.
I don't know how much of that makes up your budget, but
Well, all it does is adjust how much we have to get in taxes. I mean,
so it,
You could do 35 highway, 35 general fund.
no, we could.
That would use a little bit more, but not all of it.
yeah, I mean, it's money in the bank, but it's not money you're gonna use. I mean,
Right, it's not,
don't use it as your budget. I mean,
it's just untaxed revenue.
right.
Yeah, there'll be less money that gets figured into the tax rate sheet. What we use at fund balance is less money that we raise in taxes.
So I would say, yeah, let's use 30,000 of that. And then we save the other 30,000 for next year, because that's what we were gonna do with it anyway. I mean, yeah, because then, I mean, what we don't wanna do is use all of that this year.
Right.
Lowers the tax rate even more.
Yeah,
And then
the
next
next
year,
year
we get a
doubles.
dump.
Yeah.
And then we have
So
a jump.
try to keep it a
Steady.
steady thing.
I mean, yeah, I'd like to use more than less. I mean,
As much as, yeah.
Right. Okay, so what's the final?
65.
I think so, yeah,
65.
35 and 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
65.
I need a motion and all that for this, for sure.
30
Okay.
out of highway and 35 out of general fund?
30
Yes.
out of- 30 out of highway, yeah. 30 and 35? Is that what-
Yes.
Or do we want to just do 30 and 30?
So I make a motion that we use 65,000 fund balance, 35 general fund, and 30 out of highway.
Second that.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
I mean, that in essence, you know,
This is where we need to be.
that decreases, that makes our budget a net decrease
Right.
of, what, $20,000? Well, no,
It was
Yeah.
No, it's 40.
$20,000. 43,
Right.
plus 65, so
Yeah,
about
It's down,
25,
right.
about, 20.
which is a good way, the use of your fund balance.
That's right.
Right.
That's just, it's giving back.
Money back, yeah.
Giving back to the taxpayers, which is good.
Yep.
All right, we figured all that out. So does that mean,
Okay.
do we need to vote to approve the budget too today? Pending the
Yeah,
last.
depending on the last things,
Right.
might as well.
So I'll make a motion to approve the 2024 budget pending, no, budget expenses that are due into us still.
Yeah.
Okay, second it. All in favor of the budget, say aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
right,
Okay, budget's approved.
and the budget's available if anybody wants to see it.
Review it.
But now we can work on
The rest of our stuff.
books to send to everybody. Okay.
Oh, which I have, yeah. Well, whatever. I haven't done our select board thing yet.
Yeah, you got a couple of days.
I know, but I just did, I have to have a few minutes to sit down. Highway.
Few updates, as everyone knows, flooded on Monday with washout, nothing major,
Sion again?
seeing on again.
Are we gonna have to think about something in the future for Sion? Is that gonna be like a race to do something
I'm
different?
thinking about building that road up.
Okay.
You know, if it was raised another 16 inches, 2 foot,
Will it affect that house that's there or?
no.
Okay.
It's below the red house, and it runs down to Paul Emerson's. But over the years, that's obviously gone down and it's never got built back up to where it used to be years ago.
Yeah.
So I think if we raise that up 2 feet, up through there, it would make a big difference on the water running over the road and washing the road out.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the state's talking about it everywhere. We gotta start making it better and make
So-
it the next one.
If you do that, is there a need for more culverts or anything up through there?
No, I'll build the road up, I'll dig a swale so that when it overflows the field or whatever, pasture, whatever you wanna call it, it will have a place to go down the edge of the road
Yep.
easier than
On the road.
washing it. I mean, it's still probably gonna wash the edge of the road out. I mean, there's no stopping.
Right.
But like what you did, building that stone up, it did a nice job and it works well, so.
There's just not enough bank up there to do it.
Okay.
But, you know, we're gonna try something next year.
Okay, good. That's all you can do.
That's it.
We got a check from the insurance company for a Phillips truck,
Okay.
so I'm gonna get that parts ordered and get that going. Other than that, equipment's running, we're still going.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron.
Treasurer,
Have a good night.
you too.
You too.
Just plugging away, working on the end of year spending, fire department payroll has been done, and I'm working on the fire department annual roster, which takes some time. And I renewed sam.gov, this week. I don't know if you recall last year, but it took about 4 months to get it, renewed. It was a nightmare. I have this person, from the state of Vermont that I have on my calendar to reach out to her, and we zoomed in together and we got through it and we got the 2 emails we needed, so we're all good. Just so relieved to have this person. So it's wonderful. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. Town clerk here.
I have a curb cut here for you guys I talked to Harold about. That's ready to go. So you guys just sign off on it tonight, if you agree with it,
Okay.
on Goodfellow Road. I also had a complaint about, people's trash on Walton Road / 302.
Okay.
Uh,
Assuming I know.
crows and skunks, and now the high water, the trash is all over the place, and so hoping that
Can Dan,
On 302 and Mountain Road, is that?
Welton Road,
By
it's right
Linda's house.
across from Groton Timber Works.
Yeah, right.
so that I'm working on.
Okay?
And then I gave you the copy of the road
Yes.
thing, so I had the lady from Topsom call about the roads off of Grimes Acre Road.
Yeah.
So I guess they were trying to work on their 911 addresses, and 911 said they need to clean those ones up because it's just a mess of how they've got it numbered. So they are asking if they can label them, the first 7 camps, as Groton, because they access it through Groton. And then that would change who goes and responds to them on the 911 maps. It would be Groton responders and Woodsville ambulance.
Which would make more sense because it's on our end, so it'd be easier access, I would think. Aaron?
Yeah, so the
Is there-
911 coordinator, so I'll tell you that Brent and I did this a lot.
Right.
And it's a matter of changing the ESN, and I'm gonna get back on with that, because I don't deal with it every day. So they can still have their numbers in Topsom, and Brent, because all done, he just changes it in the system, and it says Groton goes there first.
Yeah.
Or Woodsville ambulance, the Groton Fire Department goes there. Same as it did for Quarry Road and up the bottom of Lucy Hill, because it didn't go all the way through there.
Right.
And as long as it's done through Topson's coordinator and through Groton's coordinator, it can happen. As long as the next person comes to coordinator in Topson and doesn't look at it and say, well, that's our town,
That's our town.
get back. So then everybody doesn't know that. That happened when,
Brent's our coordinator?
that happened when there was a heart attack victim on Lucy Hill on our.
So can Brent work with them and?
I don't know that Brent's gonna do anything. Their person will check, because it's their addresses in their town. Will just
Okay.
get labeled Grimes Acres Road.
Right, yeah. So they'll take care of that on their end, we just.
It will just notify when somebody calls for an emergency there. It will trigger Groton and Woodsville instead of,
Try to reach.
I have a question.
Yep.
Could this turn into a headache for the town of Groton as far as emergency vehicles responding up that road in its current condition?
Good go, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's class 4 road. And anybody who's living on a class 4 road,
Right.
that's the risk they run.
Okay.
Yep. Part of living on a class 4 road.
Say, hey,
Yeah.
They get the tax benefits.
Right.
fix our road.
And what it means is, we go there first,
Yeah.
before Topsom has to come all the way from
Right.
West Topsom or East Topsom, but fire to go
Right.
up there.
Right.
With a long way through town.
Yeah.
There are,
Same as the ambulance.
and I always like to point out, there's parts of Groton that Groton doesn't cover too.
yeah.
Right.
Like up on Pigeon Pond is not,
Right.
it's in Groton. But,
That's a good example.
yeah,
Same.
Groton doesn't cover that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's okay for me to let her know, it's
I would-
fine.
Yeah,
I would say, yep. I guess if it makes sense, let's do it, yep.
Do they have a name of that road?
They call it Grimes Acres Road.
Grimes Acres, but it looks like the highlighted part, right?
They call it Fuller Hill Road
Fuller
in
Hill.
Thompson, but they're gonna change it, those ones, to Grimes Acres Road, Groton.
Can't be wrong. That's,
Well, I guess maybe she didn't specifically say Groton. She just said Grimes Acres Road.
Maybe stay, yeah.
What she's saying is that it would extend the name, the road naming convention would extend for Grimes Acre Road into Topsham. Instead of it being Fuller Hill Topsham, it would be Grimes Acres Road Topsham. But when that change happens, she does that, Groton Fire Department would be responding to those addresses, not Topsham. Because it's Grimes Acre Road instead of Fuller Hill Road.
Okay. We good?
Yep.
Yep, good on that.
Okay, anything else, Gary?
Just one other thing, I did have one final thing, do you have some?
I was just gonna say, does one of the fire department guys, or, I mean, you can always just make sure it's communicated back to the fire department that change is gonna be made.
Yeah.
I just think it's, you've got this already.
I got a copy of that.
Yeah.
I had a talk with the state of Vermont for the FEMA, so now FEMA for the federal stuff is done and it's sent to the state. So I talked with her, got that, the next step on that done. So now she's hoping then the checks will be in the mail, basically.
Okay,
So that's hopefully finalizing.
thank you.
That's all I have.
Okay. Fire and fast, was there anything else for fire and fast?
Fire department roof. Previous chief was supposed to buy the rubber for the roof and didn't happen. So Steve put snow guards on the roof without the rubber. You got anything else to say on that, Steve?
Steve talked to me about it
Okay.
too, and I said, well, let's get the rubber and get it installed
Yeah.
to finish the project, so, can Wayne get, can you guys get?
So I think the original plan was that it was gonna get ordered by the previous chief, through Amazon.
Okay.
I don't know if they need a PO for, or if you guys just.
Yeah, I need a PO.
But it was part of the project originally, so.
Till we just get it, yeah.
Okay, well, I was just
Not the
set
original.
it up Amazon, which is a nightmare to reconcile, so I would like to have it done in January if I can order it. I really need it.
Yeah, we're too close at this point, we're too close to the end of the year, so.
It's extra, $300.
Right, so let maybe, on the second or third, follow up with Lisa to get a PO and get it
Does that
ordered.
sound okay to you?
Well, I don't understand, so we're not gonna order it now?
We'll wait 2 weeks because we're trying to reconcile the budget for this
and
year.
everything. We really wanna sit around and wait for $300 to finish the fire? Can't we just?
I would say the fire department reserve fund.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well,
Comes
still,
down reserve fund, it's a different story, you get burned out.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the spending is fine, but it's the reconciling of the Amazon, which is a nightmare, and I just got it reconciled, so.
there's
Well,
one.
I know, but I'm just like, so,
Okay. All right, I'll order it.
okay, thank you.
All right.
Anything else?
It was Fire Academy.
Fire academy, that got squared away.
Fire Academy is squared away as far as we know yet.
Okay. So there was a hiccup with paperwork not going
Correct.
down to the fire
Yeah.
academy.
Yeah.
So, and
Okay.
Wayne got that
He did, yep.
squared away for you.
Okay, good, excellent.
Other than that, I don't believe there's.
Today, the furnace guy was here, and I let him into the fire department so we could get into our furnace. I
Yeah.
gave him what he needed, he got in there and did what he had to do, I guess.
Okay, good, I saw that they were here and there.
And I'll be doing the fire extinguishers for the fire department, I'll probably come in tomorrow. And get him, no, okay, I'll get him after Christmas then, next week.
Okay,
Thanks, Junior.
Constable, anything from Mark?
Nope.
No time sheets? If he doesn't submit them, he doesn't get paid,
And this is the last week of payroll.
so, oh well. Library,
The only thing she said is possibly talk about the Winter Lights program last Friday, I think it was.
Yep.
And she had the lit up trucks, maybe it was 2 Fridays ago. It was the 8th.
yeah, I remember
So
seeing it, yeah.
it was lovely. She had over 100 participants going in and out of the library.
Okay,
They
good.
served hot cocoa and had crafts for the kiddos, and it was a great event.
Good,
So
Wonderful.
it's nice.
Nice.
excellent.
It's really nice to see Ireland send that truck out.
Yeah,
It's pretty
You know,
cool.
It is pretty
it is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel they got like 4 of them. Does that sound right, Steve?
Yeah,
3 of them, I think the guy said.
3 of them?
That stayed busy nonstop.
I don't doubt it. Yeah.
oh, I bet.
That's pretty cool.
But just to put all those lights on and get everything is quite a pain. But I'm sure they've got it right down to a pretty good science.
I imagine. Yeah. Yeah.
They do a good job.
Zoning administrator, have you heard anything from Dan?
Nope.
I haven't
It's all
either.
quieted down.
Health officer, anything? Nothing. I haven't heard anything from Dan either. Maintenance?
The only thing was Aiken came to clean all the furnaces, community building, fire
Yep.
department, and highway. He came in a few times, something broke, he ran to St. Johnsbury to get the part, they don't have the part. He's gonna order the part, he fixed it good enough so it's in, but it will need to be replaced, it's not a huge expense, he
Fine.
said. He's gonna write it all up, cause there's a lot of things
Okay,
with this
fine.
old boiler or
I'm
whatever
sure.
it is. So, I said, please write it all up, because I I took notes, but I don't quite understand it. And eventually, we will need new,
Boilers.
yeah.
La, 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 la.
And that's, you know, around 20,000. But,
Yeah.
but we have reserves,
Right.
you know, that.
We have a
Yeah.
building, you know, that's part of the.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
So it's just putting it out there that the time may come, and he still wants his fan in the can done. It's not right, and it's
Okay.
calling for it. Tim Corey, he said he was working with him not too long ago, and he thinks he'll see him on a job. He'll push him a little to see if he can get us an estimate. And he said it's not a big cost, so that was nice to hear. I had no idea.
Okay, good.
So
All right.
I'll let you know more when we get his invoice. He's gonna write it all up. So,
Okay.
and it will come out of 2023.
He
budget.
didn't, he went to all 3 buildings and he didn't come away saying, oh my gosh.
No, just ours, you know, just, you know, the leaky around the coil need to be replaced, a drawer assembly, a boiler number 2, valves leaking. I don't know. I wrote all these notes down as he's describing it, but he's got it okay right now.
Yeah.
No, not dangerous or anything, and
Okay,
good.
good.
so, okay.
We already went over IT, Planning Commission, is there anything, I haven't heard anything from them, ongoing grants, updates, infrastructure project updates, any stuff on any of that, everything's pretty
We
much.
already dealt with
I haven't
Warwick
heard a thing.
earlier.
We
Haven't
did deal
heard
with
anything on
Warwick,
anything
yeah.
else.
Community grant, EV charging, anything on that?
Nothing on any of those.
No.
Okay, open to the public, is there anything from the public? Okay, and follow-up speed, we haven't done anything more on that, set
I
it
see the sheriff,
today.
Mike Jolly was in town today.
Yeah, I didn't see who it was, but he was pulling people over.
750 is his number.
Oh, yeah.
What is it?
750.
I've seen 751 parked in his yard
Yeah,
too.
am I supposed to say?
Yeah.
Okay, so, okay,
Pulling people off.
that's good. And, set agenda, I'm assuming the same,
Yep. Right, well,
we can,
we can take the bids off of there. We can, budget stuff is all set.
correct.
The town report.
Town report will be on there.
I don't know about fire department discussion.
I think we keep the, we probably need to have the chief,
Probably
leave
just
the
talk
fire
about that
chief
at the fire
discussion.
department.
It could be caught
Regular
under the
load.
fire department, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we'll keep that, we'll just be under the fire department and we'll do
That's
some,
fine.
we'll do some work on that. And that, what else for the new year? That'll be the new year.
Yeah, the biggest thing will be town report and
Yep, town report, so,
End of year process, you know.
yes,
Closing out the year and the
Closing
final
out
of the year.
is a
Right.
nightmare.
right.
okay. Motion to adjourn,
Second,
Jen,
Gin.
second,
Jen, Donna.
third, okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Just made the
Just made
motion,
the
who's
motion.
second?
Yeah, I sort of made the motion. It was like,
You can't speak, but those marijuana companies work.